Peanut, what's up, man?
What's up, brother?
How you?
Man, I've been great. It's been a long ride.
Yeah.
I would say we've known each other now for 10 years?
I don't know. It's a good while.
Let's see. I started the food truck in 15 is when I bought the food truck, and I knew you just before that.
Yeah.
You were doing all that stuff with the UFC fights and all that.
Yeah.
That's when you were getting into that.
Yeah.
And so we kind of met through some other people actually, I think it was maybe your charity thing you were doing with the Mardi Gras and stuff.
Yeah, Party Gras. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're still doing that. You're still rocking there.
Yep. Hell
so, man, so we've kind of had a little history.
Yeah.
A couple late nights.
Yep. Quite a few of those.
But man, I think I appreciate you having me on. And I know you had Beau, my business partner. You had him on 6-7 weeks ago. And he might have gave you a bunch of cliff notes on kind of how our business got started, which is a cool story, dude.
Yeah. Well,
it's a cool story.
Well, first off, I told him, and I'll tell you too, because I hadn't told you personally, I appreciate the opportunity of being here, down here in y'all's area, you know what I mean? And having this space right here
right above our restaurant.
Yeah, everything you guys are doing down here, and just to be, a small drop in a pond of that it feels great. You know what I mean?
And we have, I know there's a lot of people that watch your show from all around, and they may not be familiar with Shreveport, Bossier. Right. And we're a small town. That is, we're a big small town.
Yeah, you're right.
Is that right? So
everyone knows everyone, but there's 500,000 people in this area. So.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's real kind of community cliquish oriented. So you got your golfers, and we got several golf courses, and you got your band people, and you got your bar life. And that's what I love about our spot is we're right here on the main thoroughfare. So people that don't know where Shreveport Bossier is, it is in North Louisiana, right on the Texas border.
Yeah.
Texas Arkansas border. Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma. We're right here in the top corner. And so the people that travel through here, that are maybe just passing through, going to the beach, this and that, they kind of see a different view of what Louisiana is. Everybody thinks Louisiana's down south, folks. Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, they see swamp people. They see the Robertsons that are over there, shooting guns and stuff. But our town's a little bit smaller, and so that's why we started our food truck here. Me and Beau said, and this is a perfect town.
Well, so tell me about that, because Beau tells it, he was doing oil and gas, and you were already doing the food truck.
He was,
and he came aboard. So how did you get into doing the food truck?
All right, well, so his daddy got sick, got diagnosed with lymphoma, I believe it was. Don't quote me on that, but it was, and he had come down, and so Beau had come in town from, he was out in West Texas.
Yeah.
Came in town, and we went to the bars, and afterwards, after his dad, said, "Hey, man, I've got this cancer," and it was his second time to have cancer, so it was like, man, that's a big deal when it comes back. So we all just kind of sat down and hashed it out. Oh man, because we're a big family together. So we're going to beat this little thing. So me and Beau go out a little bit later, and I tell him about the food truck, because me and him, we used to work in the restaurants. We grew up in the restaurant business, and he was more of the front of the house, server, manager. I was always the back of the house, the grunt.
Yeah.
Working with the people in the back, man, talking about the cooks, the people that drink, smoke weed, do cocaine. We were in the back of the house. So I grew up in that craft, and that was kind of my life for 10 years. Was just grinding it out. Went to culinary school, but culinary school only gives you the tools.
Right.
Then you got to go learn.
Exactly.
You got to learn from some chefs. You got to learn from the industry. And so I was in the industry, and me and him went to, believe it or not, went to a Pearl Jam concert in Austin.
Okay.
Austin City Limits. It was like a 3-day festival, and we didn't do nothing but ate on food trucks the whole time that we were down there. That was 2014, I think is what it was. And so after, going to the concert and eating on food trucks, I was like, man, I can cook like that. Just like, man, give me a chance. The whole thing, reversing back to his dad. We sit down after the bar, I said, Bo, we got to get a food truck, man. Life's short. You hate driving oil field trucks. Yeah. Oil field is so volatile. You're either busy as hell or you're slow as shit.
Yep.
So you're like, oh, there was no in between. And it was just a good time for him to get out of the oil field. So I bought the food truck. He came in town and I said, man, I got us a food truck. Paid $7,500 for a 1959 old school metal box Coke trailer. When I say metal box, you've been on it. You've helped cook on it, man. So for those of y'all who don't know what a Coke trailer is, the old Coca-Cola marketing tool that they had that they would take around to festivals, fairs, sell Coke products, or open it up like it had like the big wings that open up on it, and they would be slinging Coca-Cola products on it.
The glass bottles back when they had the glass bottles.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And so there's no telling like the history of the trailer. There's no telling who's owned it before us. The guy that had it right before us was selling corn dogs at like a farmer's market.
Yeah.
And he was selling them at like a trades deal, which is like Canton, Canton, Texas. They have this huge, like a flea market.
Yeah.
So this dude was like flea marketing on the weekends and like setting up at like little trade shows and stuff. And he was ready to get rid of his business, and I was ready to buy into a business. We ain't have no money. Hell, we still ain't got no money. I got a lot of debt.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
But we sat down after that little meeting after his dad, and I told him I was going to be looking for a food truck. He thought I was full of shit. Maybe 6 months go by. I said, dude, I bought a food truck. For real? I'm like, yes, I got a food truck. Man, we're going to start doing this thing. And so for the first 4 months, for the first 3 months, he was still driving trucks all over Texas, delivering the oil, picking up the oil, doing all the stuff. And I was just hustling, making $10 a day.
Damn.
Nothing. I would go set up outside of a buddy's car lot.
Yeah.
And make like 7 sandwiches a day.
What'd you do with all that waste? That's always my question. Like, what happened?
At the time, I ate it all.
Yeah, that was you. Like if I set up not, I'll eat it. Okay.
Yeah, and if we did this interview, 6 years ago, I was only about 250. Now I'm 350. So I'll tell you where the waste went. That's where the waste went right there.
Yeah.
But I was making no money, $0. Was in debt, just like any new business starts. You just, you fortunately didn't have any heavy banknotes. All I had was personal, mom, dad, Bo's daddy, everybody that chips in, I would call it your maybe 8 to 10 people that support group. Had people working for me for free, trading them out, cold beer, food. Yeah. That's all I could afford. I can't pay you $10 an hour.
Yeah.
But guess what? You want to come drink some beer and sling some po' boys?
Yeah.
And which also, speaking of po' boys, for people around the country that don't know what po' boy is, it's basically your Jersey Mike's, it's your Subway sandwich. But we have it down here in the South as a po' boy, which is French bread, cut, toasted, and that was kind of my go-to. So when I needed a niche of what people weren't serving, hamburgers, all these other food trucks were doing. Man, they were doing hamburgers, chicken strips, chicken wings, rice cups, this and that. They weren't doing no po' boys, and so I was like, well, shit, I got that. I can do po' boys. I can do gumbo. I can do red beans and rice. Yeah. And so I had me some staples, started rolling around. Bo calls me one day, and he said, I quit my job. I said, you quit your job. Mind you, he's making
good money.
6 figures.
Yeah, he's making good money.
6 figures, and I'm making $30 a day.
Yeah.
I was having fun. We was all having fun, you know. But as far as like bottom line, putting money towards, you know, what you need to live on, I was making like 30, 50, happy when I made $100.
Yeah.
But I was living on his dad's couch, because that's what you do. You know, get rid of, you live as small as you can when you're starting a new business. You know, you don't have the big house, you don't have the fancy car. I had a 1995 Tahoe.
Yeah. 2-door or 4-door?
2-door, 330,000 miles on the thing, and I'm out there slinging it, man. We're catering, but his daddy would have to like drive the truck because I couldn't pull a big old, you know, heavy 1959 iron box food trailer. So his dad, a lot of times, had to pull with his Ford truck, had to pull it out to the little spots, and then I would set up and I'd be out there for a couple hours. I probably sold more like sodas, you know, Cokes and Sprites than I did actual food. I think people were just interested. They would just stop by and just like, what the hell is this dude doing on the side of the road? And but I was learning the whole time, learning. And that's the best part was, you know, when Beau did finally quit his job, I had learned enough in the small amount of time that I had to train him how to cook on the food truck. So now we are maybe we're probably 6 months into the business. Now it's the two of us. And now we can work shift works. So man, he would go out in the morning. He was the morning guy because he was doing that with the oil field anyway.
Yeah, he gets up early.
And I was the night guy.
Yeah.
So he would go out, run the food truck in the morning, selling breakfast. We'd go set up places like the VA hospital and sell breakfast. What
was on the breakfast menu? Man,
just like breakfast tacos. Like imagine any kind of the meats that we have for the po' boys.
Yeah, so
turkey,
using
ham.
That too. Okay,
using that, but all you're doing is just scrambling some eggs. Scramble some eggs, maybe some potatoes, a little hash browns, and that was like your breakfast menu.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we found out a lot of those people that worked at the hospitals, they wanted real food at 4:30 in the morning too, because they've been working shift work. So they're getting off work at that time.
That's their dinner, yeah.
That's their dinner. So we're not just slinging tacos. We're doing po' boys and gumbo. So we're like, all right, we're on to something here. So we're kind of growing the business. And I would go from there. He would meet me at lunch, and we would both work like a little lunch shift. And then our town had just got some breweries, which I know breweries have been popular everywhere for probably 20, 30 years. Well, we're so far behind in Shreveport, Bossier that, you know, we're like, all right, well, we just started to get some breweries. And we would take our little food truck and go set up outside the brewery where everybody would get off work and they would come and, you know, drink their beers and eat a little bite there. It gave us just enough money to get through each day.
Yeah.
And then I would go set up at the bars at night. Pardon me. So like the bars around here usually get busy around 9 to 11, 9 to midnight.
Yeah, we have a very, very, very unique layout with the nightlife here.
With the nightlife, yeah.
It's not a New Orleans. It's not a Austin. It's somewhere in, or not a Dallas. It's somewhere in between.
Yeah, and I would say you have to be here to know the vibe,
right?
And so we would set up at these little different areas, different bars, and then on the weekends, you knew where your wild out places were.
Yeah.
That's your casinos, strip clubs. And we didn't hold back on none of them, man. We would set up in front of the Deja Vu, and the girls would come out in their, you know, in their skimpy clothes, getting a po' boy going back inside. Yeah. Man, we hustled the heck out of them. But I mean, that was where it was. You just he went from making his good money to us making no money. You got to figure out where to go sell, and you're not like you can't just be like, oh, I'm not going to go there because.
Yeah, no,
I don't approve of the business.
No, we got to make money.
Oh yeah,
and everybody's got to eat.
Oh man, First Baptist Church would call me up. They'd be having a fireworks show. Hey, come set the food truck up. Man, I'll be there. Yeah. I would have
and the strip. You be the church on Sunday. Strip club on Friday.
No, literally Saturday night. We wouldn't leave until 6 a.m. at the strip club and be headed to the church to go park out, because they would have like a little amusement day or like a family day at the church. And so we roll up. Yeah. Man, same way. And so it worked because we started doing shift work. And I think there's too many people that try to like, oh man, I want to start a food truck. Man, it's hard to do it by yourself. I wouldn't be where I was here by any means if we didn't start working that rotation. Yeah. Because what you have to do is get your name out there. In order to get your name out there, you got to be everywhere. Man, we would go to festivals. I went to like a balloon festival in like Austin, Texas, and it got rained out. I'm talking about drove down there, had all my product, and I'm like, man, this is going to be great. We get there the first day. They're like, all right, the rain's coming in, so the balloons ain't going to go up. We're not going to have anything. We'll try it again tomorrow. Rain down. So like, oh, shit, I got all this product. What am I going to do? We come back. We fortunately had
so you went all the way to Austin. Yeah. Stayed there for 2 days.
2 days.
Couldn't sell.
Yep, couldn't sell. Nothing.
And already paid in. They didn't refund y'all?
No. I mean, we paid $1,000 to get in.
Holy shit. Yeah. And so they basically said, we'll credit that for next year or some shit.
Exactly.
But you still got all this product, probably $500-$600 worth of product. And all the
way more than that. Yeah.
Oh, well, and all the fuel.
Yep.
You know,
and now they're just like, all right, well, sorry. And so fortunately we found something that next week, which was, I want to say it was like the Watermelon Festival. This is when I was like on the festival click. Like I was,
hey, dude, that's a good way to make money.
Man, I was just rolling around. I was
a lot of cash too.
Yeah, it is. Hey, and I would roll around. We would go from Arkansas. We did like we would do like a strawberry festival in freaking Arkansas, all the way down to like the Texas Crab Festival in Galveston. We would like from all around. Go down to New Orleans from time to time, do a festival. And the bad part about that is just me and him. And so festivals, man, you might be out there for 12 hours a day.
And it's nonstop.
Yeah. We've only done one state fair. We did the Louisiana State Fair. And it was, we were one and done on that. Cause that's 12 days in a row. Yeah. And you have to like shuttle your product in. You can't like just like,
you can't drive your truck up and unload it. Yeah. You gotta literally get someone to bring it to you. Yeah. Then coordinate with them.
Yeah. Coordinate it.
And
on top of just like working hard, you've got to like work harder on trying to like, how do you figure
logistics and shit.
Yeah. And so there's a whole bunch of people that know how to do that, and more power to them. We found our own little niche though. Yeah. We were like, man, we're going to be community oriented. And so we started going to anything that was around this area. Easter egg hunts. Man, if your neighborhood was having a Saturday afternoon Easter egg hunt, we're there. Yeah. If you're having a Halloween costume contest, you want a food truck there, bang, we're there. And so we did that shit literally for a year and a half. And then we saved up our money enough to buy like a little small joint. And when I say small joint, it was a donut shop. The place reeked of like donuts, like the whole, like we had to wash the
like some old yeast.
yeah, and grease fryers and all that. So it took us. We graduated into our own little spot, and that's when our business started to take off. Because when you're cooking on the food truck, that means we were washing dishes in the front yard. You're taking your pots and stuff, and you're rinsing them out in the front yard, and then you're taking them in, trying to sanitize them, and putting them back on your truck. And there was a lot of the crazy shit that people don't understand. They look at me right now, and they look at us as a business, and they say, "Oh man, those guys are doing it. They're so successful." But a lot of times they don't see that.
It was in the backyard or the front yard. You know?
Wherever.
Yeah.
And
like doing anything mobile, so like especially with food, is so much there's so much more to it because you don't have everything at your disposal.
You don't,
and you like keeping stuff hot, keeping stuff cold. That's the biggest game in like anything off site is that
you get a run on one product, and now you're out, and now people are upset, because they're in line. You know, might have a line of 200 people waiting for you, and then they get all the way up there because they really want to try this macaroni and cheese, like my specialty. I do this like loaded mac and cheese that has.
We got to talk about that.
Oh man, it has some andouille sausage with the shrimp. And it's got a little bit of pieces of gator, and it's got crawfish tails and chicken. So it's fully loaded.
But the best thing about it's the base of the cheese is pepper jack.
Yeah,
it's not no cheddar.
No, it's not
like that.
Right? It's pepper jack cheese, and actually. I'll give you backstory.
Yeah, I was about to ask you.
Love backstory.
We can go either way.
All right.
I'll keep track where we're at. We can circle back to.
So I'll give you the mac and cheese backstory. And I actually did this on Michael Simon's national program off He's for Food Network.
Yeah,
it was Michael Simon's Brews, Barbecue Brews and Q. I think is the show. I want to say it's like episodes. Series 6, episode 6, something like that. You guys can look it up. It's pretty cool. It's got me on there acting an ass, but I'm in the kitchen, flambéing all this little stuff on. But the true story behind the actual mac and cheese, the loaded mac and cheese, it was because my kitchen staff, love my kitchen staff. They're working hard the whole time. This is where we just first opened up, like truly a restaurant. And I was only serving crawfish mac and cheese before that, because that was my dish that I created. I created crawfish mac and cheese, and it was a hit. Everybody loved it. Well, my kitchen staff, they were outside, blowing some smoke. They come back in, high as hell, and they're like, I look over at their dish, because I let them eat, whatever they want. They had like boudin in there. They had alligator sausage in there. They had shrimp. I mean, they just piled up like $40 worth of meat on like one dish. And I was like, all right, that looks delicious. I was like, I bet it is delicious, but I can't make no money on that. I was like, so we got together, me and the kitchen staff, and we said, we started weighing some things out. All right, how can we make that dish? That was like the stoner dish of the kitchen staff. How can we make that into a dish that I can sell to the public, make a profit? So it was kind of a learning process of them. It took us about 2 weeks to figure it out, but by weighing out the right amounts of product, being like crawfish tails, alligator sausage, chicken, by weighing it all out the way it should be, makes for a delicious dish, and it's the number one seller for sure in both of my restaurants. Okay. Like, I mean, everybody loves it. Loaded mac and cheese. So if you guys get down here, try it out. Y'all know the little backstory. It's definitely the first time I ever told the story on any side of podcast. You know? I think there's a click that a few people that might know that I didn't actually create that dish. Yeah, I got to claim it. I'm the chef.
I mean,
but
that's how it works.
Yeah,
you get all the credit.
I get all the credit. But it was the one sneaking out back. Firing up a little, batter's box and coming back in and like building it up. I was like, oh man, this looks great. So that was a little backstory there. So I know we were rolling somewhere else.
We was rolling on the new store.
Yeah,
I mean, the new store you just opened is Old Donut Shop.
Old Donut Shop. So the old Donut Shop, dude, it was run down. I'm talking about we were each morning we had more rat traps in the place than I did actual like boxes of bread. Like, I couldn't keep boxes of bread because the freaking rats keep wanting to come in and eat all the fucking bread. And so I'm like, man, just imagine that. Like, I mean, you come in and this is the place that you like dumped all your money into. Me and Bo saved all our money. Man, this is a place. This is what we're going to do. It came with like a walk-in cooler that was like, it was janky, but it worked. And so for people that don't know what a walk-in cooler is, that's like a giant refrigerator that holds all your product. But you needed to hold the product because as soon as the refrigerator goes up, you lose your product.
Yeah.
And we battled with that for like 2-3 months, getting a guy out to put new sealers on all the stuff, and all that stuff costs money.
Hell yeah.
So next thing you know, we're ripping. But we're still setting up everywhere.
So you're running that location and you're running the site too.
Yeah, the food truck. The food truck just stayed running.
That's your prep kitchen now at this point. So you finally have a prep kitchen.
Yep. Not having to wash the dishes out in the yard anymore.
Right, yeah.
We're getting to wash them actually in a nice confined spot. But you got to chase the rats out every once in a while. Yeah. Which, looking back on it, that was we'll say I hate rats. I mean, that's my biggest fear. I didn't even like the movie Ratatouille because the little rat that's stirring up soup, man, it fucking gross me out. So just imagine a big old boy like me coming in and there being a 3-inch rat running across.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that jumps up on the cooler. So we fought that. We fought that battle. We graduated from that spot, our little small hole in the wall donut store, to a bigger spot, bigger location. Bigger location obviously comes with more bills, more staffing, and so it was attached to a actually kind of a military type base, and so I was selling to the military, but I was also selling to the public at the same time.
Yeah.
Gave us a great look into how to open another spot. We obviously, the first place we were having to do so much offsite, we were running the whole time, so
right.
we really couldn't confine ourselves to figure out how to run a good business. The second location, too busy. Yeah. So the second location, we figured out man, I can send somebody out on the food truck. They can go out and we can help them get set up, and then we can come back and run this other business. So next thing you know, I'm making money in 3 different locations at the same time. That's what's huge. A food truck, man, it's so hard to just make money because you're making it in one location, and it's volatile, like you said.
Yeah, you don't know the
weather. You don't know who's going to come, who's not going to be there, and so by the time we doing all that, you've kind of got your crew that you trust, your crew that say, hey, we're going to do this. We can make some money over here while I'm out making money somewhere else. So we're kind of running 3 different restaurants at the same time, but we're running it with 6 people, and we're still paying people in beer and food. We're don't get me wrong. We're not able to actually pay anybody yet. So by the time you run those 3 spots, and we got so busy, we kind of got some local attention from all of the vendors, local attention from all of the people that we've been set up at their locations. And there was a real specific spot. The guy's name is Rick Avery. I set up in front of his little supermarket. He's got a shopping strip.
Okay. And
they had a fireworks stand out there and a snow cone stand. So I'm set up in between the fireworks stand and the snow cone stand, slinging po' boys. Still not making no money. But that guy, we met him, and that graduated into our business that we run now. So it actually got me the lead into me having BeauxJax, the actual restaurant.
Yeah.
The sit down, 4,600 square feet, nice remodeled roof. We're not having to chase rats out no more, and I'm not having to sell to the military / public. This is just anybody and everybody. Mm-hmm. This is your it was our initial startup, I would say. All the other ones were little small startups, but this was the GOAT. This is the one that changed everything. Yeah. When I say changed everything, it changed everything. It was not just now we're doing well. We're deep in the community. We have like these. We're still promoting ourselves on the food truck a little bit at the time, but like it's the one that made it where we weren't having to run 3 places at one time.
Right.
Like all of a sudden, I was able to take the shop that had the old donut shop, and I was like, all right, well, we're going to cut the cost on having that one, and I'm going to cut the cost on having the other one. We're going to parlay those 2 into the one that we have and give it all of our energy, and it is what it is now. So we're rocking and rolling for people that aren't from here. You guys should come check us out because it's an experience. Like it is it's hard to explain. Like
you've centralized yourself in the old downtown Bossier City, where we're sitting at right now, and you guys have came down here and you've been open to everyone with open arms and said, okay, this is what we're doing. We want everyone to be a part of it. And you just constantly compounded on top of that, creating other opportunities. You know, entertainment. Yeah. I mean, we started with multiple restaurants, multiple entertainment venues. We're sitting right over BeauxJax Throwing right now, which is an awesome entertainment venue. You guys partnered with them. And you have Frozen Pirogue right next door to here. And then you have the Hurricane Alley in the back, which now is a huge entertainment venue. And this is something that this area has never had. We have like an outdoor venue that can hold concerts now. We've never had that.
Yeah, Dallas has had it.
I mean, everywhere is huge for it. Any big metro area has those, correct, those areas to where that's where you see all the big acts come to. They show up. It's less cost for the patron, and better return on the person throwing the event because it's like you think about it. You're not having to AC everyone. We're not dealing with an arena. We have it's all around better for everyone.
Well. And
based on weather, of course, but still, it's awesome.
Weather permitting. When we opened like this stage, like we're talking about, it led us back to kind of our like going to see Pearl Jam.
Yeah, festival days.
Yeah. So we started this whole business on like fun, good times, and so like we wanted to give people that option. Like I go out to eat probably 5 nights a week. And everywhere I go, it's just the same old. You know, you go to this restaurant, and it's just like, they may have a little one piece band. Guy picking a guitar. That's kind of cool. But other than that, if you're at a sports bar, you're there to watch, a couple TVs, whatever. But we tied it everything. We tied the band. We tied the TVs. We tied the atmosphere. We got the BeauxJax where you can shoot pool. You can play air hockey. You can throw axes for a little while. Heck, there's even video poker in there. You can gamble a little bit. So you have all of the cool things that we've kind of thought that when I go out to eat, I'm like, man, this would be a cool spot if they had a pool table in the back. And none of them do because it's just more. You make more money off of not having a pool table in the back. So, knowing that from the restaurant side, I think that's what we've done a real good job of bringing everything full circle. And so when you park your car, there's other shit to do. Right.
Yeah. You're not coming here just to eat. You're coming here for an entire night of experience.
Correct.
Yeah. If you're rolling up on anywhere from a Monday night to a Sunday night, there's something to do.
Something to do. I mean, that's why I bought the huge TV in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't even know what it's giant.
It's massive.
Yeah, it is.
It's wider than I don't
it's
know.
A wall, 20
foot wide, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say probably 24. Yeah, 24 by 20.
Yeah,
it's huge. But it's HD, and so we got it ready last year for football season, and now this is the spot to go to watch. You're outdoors, you're looking back at the game. So it's all those little things that I think a lot of, let's say, restaurateurs, they maybe want to do, but they don't have the area because they're all ate up by parking. So when you come down to our place, like all the parking is like public parking because we're in a entertainment district, and so people can just park anywhere. It's not like whenever you pull into a chain restaurants, for instance, they can only use so much of their space because they have to put the parking out there for the people to get in.
Right.
I mean, we might have 1,200 people down here on a Friday night, and half the times I don't even know where they park.
Yeah, they're coming from everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they might Uber in or whatever it is, but it's
like
just it is so fun, and people have that, like, it is what you exactly said, where you can come down and there's more to do than just eat, and that's what
you have, like a pavilion style setup, like where you go watch music, and then you also have like a music festival vibe. And then you have if you want casual dining, you have this. If you want more fine dining, you have this.
Yeah,
if you just want to come down here and drink, you have that. So you have every single demographic of person that wants to come do something can do it here.
Yes, and we're in the only open container district.
Yeah, that too. That makes a big difference, which is huge for this area.
Which for people that don't know what open container means, it is you can bar hop, basically. Legally bar hop. You can go from one spot to another as long as you're drinking one of the drinks from the spots that are down here. You can't just like walk in with like, your own beer. You can't do that. But as long as you if you go into like one of the restaurants and you say, hey, I want a daiquiri, they'll sell you a daiquiri, and then you can bar hop. You can go from that to another location, or walk out and watch the music.
Yeah.
We got one brewery now, being Flying Heart, and then there's another brewery going in, Red River, that's coming in soon. So there's a Mexican food joint up the road, high-end Italian food up the road. So like all in the same area. So it kind of has made it its own like cultural district. That is not.
And it's happened overnight too. This has happened quick.
For everybody that doesn't know,
the past 3 years, this has all happened. Everything you do not see that anywhere else.
No.
This is the only other place besides New Orleans you can do open container, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So this is the only other place in the state of Louisiana where you can literally walk. If anybody has not been in this area but have been in New Orleans, it's the same experience.
Yeah.
It's just in a smaller area.
And
hold on, shots on the 30.
Shots on the 30.
You're done passing it up. Josh forgot to tell us.
All right, let me give you a backdrop on shots on the 30 too.
Yeah, preface this for us.
Yeah, so we obviously were affected by COVID just like everybody else. Like when COVID hit, it was detrimental to all restaurants, anybody around the country. We all know that was just like, we didn't know if you were going to be it was going to be a game ender or if we were going to be affected by this. So we kind of had this little thing where me and my managers, we showed up to work 7 days a week. We didn't, we weren't paying ourselves anything. We showed up and we started feeding a lot of the firemen. Yeah. We fed the first line workers that were anywhere from the paramedics to the hospital employees, and we were feeding them, and we were doing package deals. So it was like they could get basically we were getting our food cost out of it. We backed our food cost out, so we weren't making anything, but we were able to just stay busy, because I think that's like drove a lot of people nuts during the entire time is they're sitting around the house and they're driving themselves stir crazy because they just need something to do. So we created this little thing where we would do a podcast during COVID, and it was with our friend Ben Mintz, which you should get Ben on this show. Like this, he's funny as hell. He works for like Barstool Sports now, and they're doing a cool thing. So at the time, he had his little podcast, and he would come shoot it from our restaurant, and we would be spaced out like you're supposed to be. We would have our 6 foot apart or whatever we're supposed to be, but at the same time, we were trying to make some fun, some light out of the situation. And so we started doing this thing called Shots on the 30. So we might be on his podcast for like 3 hours. Like we just were sitting around. And next thing you know, every 30 minutes, somebody would come by and pour a shot. And like a lot of times it'd be Fireball. Sometimes it'd be like Don Julio. Sometimes it would just be like Jameson. They might throw something crazy at us, but just to see our reaction while we were like doing this little, podcast thing. And, so it kind of turned into this 9-week long thing that we had, and it made our day pass. And like it boosted our morale. I mean I don't know if it boosted anybody else. Actually, I think it did, because I heard some of the people that were working at the hospitals and stuff, they would listen to our podcast while we were, because it was a live show. It wasn't like recorded. It was like straight live, and they would be listening to like, they were doing like shots on the 30. We even had people like sitting at their house doing like shots on the 30 with us, and so that's where the shots on the 30 came in. It was a COVID expression that was just like more of us to just. And middle of the day, obviously there was all the stuff was closed down, but it gave us a sense of normalcy for us hanging out with our buddies. Hanging out with our buddies, and we're still slinging some food. We were trying to put some people back to work during the COVID, and it made sense. So here you go.
Let's do it.
Shots on the 30.
Yes, sir.
Here you go, Don Julio down the drain. Huh? Not too bad. Ooh. I don't think I had one of those since the COVID parties, but
it's good.
I'm more of a Coors Light kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm a tequila fella, so we'll meet in the middle on that one.
Yeah, I like my tequilas, but I like them in margaritas. Though.
Yeah, hey, dude, I love them. I love a good margarita, especially when it's made right, not with some bullshit.
I think you gave me a bottle for my birthday, maybe one, and it was it was a really special bottle. And I was going to save it for an occasion. And I think we had a party at my house. May have been right around like the national championship game. And next thing you know, that bottle started getting passed around.
I broke into that.
Oh, yeah. And I think I may even had like one drink. But you had told me it was like a real special like blend. And you were like, you're going to really like this. Yeah. You're like, because I'm not a heavy, like big drinker like that. I'm more of a beer guy. But you're like, man, make you a little margarita with this at the end of the night. And so maybe you can get me another one of them bottles. I can't even remember the name of it, but
I know what it was. I'll get you some more.
yeah, it was good. We're into our. I would say we started the big restaurant in 2018. It was like July. Damn, we're actually probably like. Almost for like an anniversary party. Yeah. You should have an anniversary party coming up.
What you should do is you should have an anniversary food truck reunion.
I'm not going to have to. All right, reunion as in I can bring all the people back that have helped me. We can do that, but I'm not cooking on the food truck no more.
No, but just put the food truck up there.
Yeah,
so we can sit out there
and take pictures of it. I'm not trying to get
walking back on it.
No, I'm not.
You should just turn it to a bar. At this point,
we have thought about it.
Just when you have events, like that's your bar.
That would be that'd be special.
You know what I mean? Because then it's always there. You don't have to cook on it no more, but it serves its purpose, and you don't have to move it. You
got me an idea.
I am just saying.
Yeah. Even though I said I was done building after we're putting in a wedding venue right now.
Yeah.
And should be ready in the next 2 or 3 months. So that's kind of the end to my block. So I'll have BeauxJax, I'll have the Axel, and I'll have where we're at upstairs. I'll have frozen Pirogue.
Yeah.
I'll have the wedding venue, and then the chef's table at the end of the wedding venue. So I'm hoping that that's it. Like I'm done building, man.
Yeah. So I hear you.
Even though like building a remodeling food truck probably
won't be that big.
It'll probably be that big. That won't be a deal. But
you just put a little power in there and some. Yeah. Refrigeration, you're good to go.
Well, and used to it was a lot of us doing the work.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time Bo's real hands-on, my business partner. He's real hands-on. This is the first time he actually was like, all right, man, I think we're ready just to pay somebody to.
Yeah, just step back and let them do it.
Yeah, let the guys that actually do that for a living come in and, remodel the thing. Yeah. And it's worked out. So I think we're. Yeah, I was kind of leading. We're starting 18, and we've built something every single year.
I know that's
even
what I'm saying.
Even all the way through COVID.
No one does that. That's what I was saying.
Completed projects.
Yes, I'm talking like you guys have been. Your momentum has not stalled at all. And I will say this: we'll circle back to the COVID thing because we did a little bullshit podcast in the midst of all that, in there, it with horrible audio and just the shit set up during COVID. And when I've had you guys on, but you could hardly hear anything. But like, I remember just that being the light of my week, like coming in and trying to help you guys. You know, like we came in and you gave me like an alligator, and we went and cooked that, and we went and gave that to the firemen, and you know, we did all these things, and like that was the light of my week during that time because no one was doing shit. We couldn't hang out with nobody. In my office, I was doing my business, but we were all doing it remote. So I would come in here and hang out with you guys. We'd bullshit, have some drinks, cook some food, do whatever, and deliver food to people. But like that kept the momentum. And I feel like you guys may have even like kept everyone's spirits up in your industry because like everyone in your guys' industry was shut down, especially the corporate business. They said, we're not doing anything.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And then people were like, okay, we'll do some to go, you know, but a lot of people weren't structured for that and they couldn't handle it.
Yeah. You couldn't be.
Yeah. And they couldn't pivot and make that work. You guys were able to, and you were able to keep your staff working. You stayed working, and you never shut down. And like that's something that was pivotal in that area in that time because so many restaurants did not survive that. So many, from a corporate changes,
a lot are still struggling.
To local.
They're still struggling today.
Yeah, because they just weren't willing to pivot to make it work, or they didn't have the staff, or whatever the reason may be. But you guys did it, so I felt like you set the motivation for that for other people to say, okay, hang in there, figure it out, give them some ideas, whatever. Yeah. But not only that, you guys talked to everybody every day. You guys went live, even if you weren't doing a podcast with Ben or my podcast, whatever. Right. You guys went live every day and was talking to people. It's just like they couldn't be at your restaurant no more because you had your patrons that were come and hang out with you every day, come drink with you, come bullshit, come eat. Yeah. They couldn't do that no more, but you guys still brought it to their home, which is awesome. And I think that speaks volume for what you guys, what your mission is. We're not just a restaurant and bar. We're a community.
Yeah, and I think you hit that spot on. We had people that would come, they would order food from their house, and you'd have to supposedly you come, and it would be like
curbside.
Yeah, they called it curbside at the time, and we're following all the rules that you need to follow. But I had TVs outside, and I had unlimited cold drinks inside. So I was like, man, you guys come sit on the patio while you're waiting on your food. Mm-hmm. Come sit on the patio. I'll come out there and drink a beer with you. Yeah. And next thing you know, we have people coming at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, coming just to get a bowl of gumbo and just to sit and talk.
That's it.
Man. And so I'm out there like, man, y'all want a beer? Like, no. And then they passed this little law during COVID where restaurants could sell beer to the customers. And so they'd come over here, they'd call, they're like, hey, I want a 6-pack of...
Yeah, you can come through to go, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'd sit down, and we'd drink a beer outside, sitting on the ledge, watching TV. It's when we got really heavy into sports gambling on horse races. Yeah. Because there wasn't anything else. There was no baseball, there was no basketball, there was no...
Yeah, it was all shut down.
Everything was shut down. But they still let the horses run. Mm-hmm. And so, they're running on empty stadiums. There's nobody around, but we would sit over there and just bet horses. And that was kind of a fun memory of what the whole thing. I mean, it was in the worst times. Sometimes it was good times. Yeah, because you had just some customers and they just needed that release. They were like, man, they've probably been at the house with like their old lady, and they were just like, man, I need to get out for a second. And they called me up, and they're like, hey, dude, you make me a couple vodka drinks. Yeah. You want to sit outside and like watch some horse racing? Yeah. And I'm like, damn right, dude. Come on.
Well, I mean, it means a lot to people because there was so much, like we haven't talked about that. I haven't even talked about that lately because it's such a sore subject for so long. I'm just tired of talking about it. But now it's almost looking back now, right? It's like,
it is. I mean, I think
it's been like 2 years now, so it's like now it's like, look, man, that was a time that was scary for everyone. Everyone was separated, and you guys were just part of bringing everyone back together. And like, I remember looking forward to you guys going live every day. And it's like, we're going to talk shit and hang out with people. They're in here cooking for all these to-go orders, but they're bringing the environment to you because you can't come to them. And that's something everyone missed, man. They missed the boat there. And that, I think that was a really huge part in you guys continuing to grow and be successful. Is because you never took away the experience.
Agreed.
You just pivoted and made it. You brought it to them for the time being that they couldn't come to you and get it.
And just said, hey, you're going to obviously have hoops you have to go through in every business, and that was just another hoop.
Yeah,
another hoop that we had to go through, and I'll be honest, it was the biggest hoop.
Yeah.
It's hard to sit your staff down and tell them, hey, I don't know when you're coming back to work.
Yeah.
And shoot it. But everybody did it. It wasn't just us. It was this, as small as the dentist office that says, hey, I don't know when you come back to work. The people that do nails, you're like, hey, I don't know when you come back to work. And we were the same way. And everybody that works in those kind of small environments, and we're a restaurant, but we're still a small environment. You kind of like, their family and all this, and you're like, I'm hoping that the government's going to give a little bit of money here and there, but you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know how many people are behind on their taxes, or they have like tax liens out, and like all of a sudden the government's like, hey, I'm giving you $650, but you got a tax lien. Guess what? You get zero.
Yep.
Because the government's getting all their money. And, I'm sure I had several of those. And we paid a handful of mortgages. We paid for some people.
Yeah.
During that time. But I guarantee you, when we did, those people are still working for me.
Exactly.
And they're working for me now, and they'll be working for me in 22 years.
Yeah.
They know what we did for them.
Yeah.
And that stretches a little deeper than just like, oh man, here's $50 for some gas. I'm like, dude, we straight up paid for people's houses while like when the economy didn't know what the hell was going on. And we did that without us knowing ourselves. Like, I didn't know if I was going to get the money. I'm not asking for any money back from anybody,
right.
But at the same time, we're trying to create a bigger family, and the way to do that is, help a brother out.
Yeah.
And man, there's car notes that I've paid. There's people that just get behind on something and say, man, I can't afford this. Inflation's gone crazy right now. I think we're in a bad spot as a country, but we're not in the worst spot by any means.
Yeah, no.
Like I watched this little thing. This was funny. I watched it this morning. They said, "Man, you think it's bad? Just look up history of like the world."
Yeah,
and they're like, "No, this isn't bad. No. Like we're, gas prices might be high, milk might be high." Eggs might be high, but it's not the worst.
But if you talk to anyone, and there's very few that are still alive, but if you talk to anyone who experienced the Great Depression, they'll tell you that everything they had was sacred because they realized that the entire supply chain was cut off because of limitations.
Yeah.
Right. Limitations in production. Right. Not the country ran out of like money basically, and like everyone was living off what they had. So you had to make one sheet of toilet paper last. Like, and what we've done as a society is we don't appreciate anything anymore because we're overusers. I mean, we're 3/4 of the country is overweight, and that being said, not in a malicious way, but we overconsume everything. Yeah. We overconsume food, we overconsume materials, and when that's stricken from you, you start to appreciate those things. And there's not many left that are still alive to give you the perspective on that. But like, we're not even knocking at that door yet now. When everyone's saying, "Oh, this and that," I'm like, man, you're not even we're not even get close to that yet.
Yeah, no, there is a lot worse. I definitely say that as there are people struggling. So yeah, I'm with you.
Of course.
Don't take that as hey, I'm not. Saying there's not.
Right.
It's just like this round of the COVID. Where we're into round like number 4, 5 of the COVID. I'm one of the people that chose not to get vaccinated. I'll be honest with you right now, and it has not. I've got 2 rounds of it, and it happened.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got it. I'm glad I didn't have any severe symptoms from it. But at the same time, I respect everybody's opinion.
Yeah,
to be able to do what they want to do.
Yeah, it's something that's not so much an issue or debate anymore. It's like, you know, we realize now that, okay, it's ran its course. We're building up, some type of immunity to it, and we're kind of rolling with the punches here. And not so many people were saying you should do this, you should do that, which is a good thing. Everyone should.
But that's us being America. But you can obviously think of, like, just imagine a place like Costa Rica or some place where there's only 10,000 people that live there.
Yeah.
And like, they might be scared as shit right now, still, of what's going around.
Right.
So I respect everybody's views, but I also think that we have made a good progress.
Yeah.
And when people come out and they come into a restaurant, man, they come in the restaurant, they still wear their mask. That is their thing. Like I am not going to look at you any different than the next person.
Yeah.
You're just like, man, that is, that's your feeling. That's what you have. I didn't intend to talk too much to you about COVID, but
it's something that brought us together, man. Like, and it is a big thing.
It really did.
We went and rented a house out one weekend and hung out and grilled and threw down.
Just for what we did 4 days.
Just for the hell of it.
Yeah, just to
get close to each other and love on each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that.
Yeah, we had that. That was a good time. We had such a good time. I think my chest hair actually got shaved that weekend.
You almost fought a peacock too.
Did. And I think it took 3 people to get me out of some bushes. I don't think we don't have enough time for all that.
I mean, it's something important to talk about, because I feel like it's something that's very pivotal, like I said, in your guys' progression and growth. I think it's important to talk about, because you guys set some huge, like, groundwork during that time, but since then, we'll go into everything else that's going on. You guys, like you said, you're in the process of, since then, like, you guys have become really big into catering over the past few years. Since the food truck, you basically turned that into on-site catering service.
Yep.
Replaced the food truck with
the food truck with the catering.
Now you have a venue where you can provide catering and an event space.
Correct.
And now you're expanding on that to where now you're going to have full-blown wedding venue, like top tier, and still provide the catering service. So you're basically bringing the old school food truck back to a special event.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
And I've always loved catering. That's kind of been like a passion. The restaurant kind of runs itself now.
Yeah.
What I like about catering is, and you do a lot of catering too, so you kind of know this. Each person's party, whether you're feeding 15 people or you're feeding 250 people, they're a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you're cooking the same thing at a restaurant, like where I've got 24 items that I'm going to go in and cook every single day at a restaurant. Catering's like, you might be doing chicken quarters and barbecue for one person. The next person may want a whole stuffed alligator.
Yeah.
With gumbo and jambalaya, and so each person's like different, and each group that I serve is different. So it keeps my chef game on point.
That's what I was going to mention.
Yeah, because
you backed out of that side, but now you're over here highlighting. Like, I see this shit, I'm like, man, look at boy, he got that tomahawk steak going on and some redfish tacos and all kind of crazy shit. Like,
and it reboosts the creativity.
Yeah,
because I'm back of the house through and through. We're like cut from a different cloth. Like earlier when I said, like, we're a bunch of dope smokers that like sneak out on our, like, you give us a 15-minute break, we're going to somehow find out how to hit a joint, drink a 24-ounce beer, and smoke a cigarette all in the same 15 minutes. And we're coming back to work, and we're ready to roll.
Yeah, that's a
huge, we're cut from a different cloth.
Yeah, dude. There's a huge community that we've never talked about. So let's talk about that community. Like the back of the house, you know, the people that prepare all the food, the people that show up early, that are there late, they're there before the restaurant opens, they're there after the restaurant closes. Yep. They're dealing with all the bullshit, like the preparation. Like
talking about working 12-hour shifts. Most people's shift is like, oh man, we're going to work 8 hours today. We're going to take an hour for lunch.
Yeah.
No, that's just your 9 to 5s. Your kitchen people, and once you're there, you never know who's going to show up on the next shift. You might be working straight through 12 hours. You may you're living on energy drinks and cigarettes. Like I mean, that's it. Like I mean, and for the most part, whenever they
it's that time.
It's that time. So
keep going.
Yeah.
I got you.
So for the most part, you have all of your back of the house hands that I'm not going to say are. We're not the ones that we're not running for office.
Right.
Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
We're not running for office, but you know, we're trying to put food on our table.
Yeah.
And trying to do do the amount of work that you have to do to make the boss man happy, and at the same time, we're eating dinner at midnight. Everybody else, when you work in the back of the house as a chef, as a kitchen guy, we don't eat at 6 o'clock when everybody else eats.
Right.
We don't eat at noon when everybody else eats. We don't eat at breakfast when everybody else eats. We either have to eat a freaking energy bar on the way to work breakfast, and then maybe at the very end of breakfast get a chance to suck down an energy drink because you're about to set the line up for lunch. And so now you're working lunch while everybody else is eating sandwiches. You might be hungry as hell, man. You're over there like making, sandwiches on the flat top, and you're grilling all this. You're grilling shrimp. You're, pulling fries out of the thing. You're like, man, but you get through it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, lunch shift ends and like 3 o'clock rolls around. Oh, it's time to maybe take a break. But by then you're so damn wore out. And me personally, when I was pulling my 12-hour, 14-hour shifts, you're on your feet the whole time too. It's not like, hey, I'm going to go sit down a little bit. You're on your feet the whole time.
Yep.
And when you sit down, you feel like I can't get back up. So what do? You go out, get your 24-ounce beer, crack the top, pound it down. Hey, boss man, what you need me to do next? And so, and I understand, and so I'm cut from that same cloth, and I think that there's so many people out there. I mean, y'all look at your restaurants. How many restaurants are there in each town? I mean, I know we've got 600 plus.
I didn't know it was that many.
I bet.
Sure you've done your research.
Yeah, no, I mean that's between restaurants and catering venues and everybody else. I mean, so we
cheers.
Cheers to the back of the house, guys.
Cheers to them, man.
Yeah, we're drinking with those guys right here. But yeah, I think we're a different breed, and it's never talked about. Like, everybody goes out to eat, they might send their food back. Maybe their steaks overcooked, and it happens. It happens from time to time.
But those guys have probably made 200 steaks that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if you do maybe 1,000 steaks.
Yeah, I was putting it lightly.
If you say out of your average, if you did 900% was correct, like, that's pretty good average.
Yeah. And
so sometimes we just have to let it ride off our back because we have the person that's bringing the steak back and they're yelling, the front of the house person's yelling at you in the kitchen, man, y'all messed this up, and they're going to mess my tip up, and this. Hey, as a back of the house guy, and we're just like, all right, whatever. Here, let me put you another steak on.
Yeah.
You kind of take the punches. But I mean, am I the first chef that you've had on?
No, but you are so I've had multiple chefs on, but not in person. Right.
Okay.
So the few chefs that I just had recently had the chef on. So Miss Putty is her name, Chef Putty, and she's actually the chef for The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
She was on last week, but she was on remote.
Okay.
But we talk about a lot of this stuff, like customer service and stuff like that. And, I've had another Wilderness to Table chef on before that, also remote. So you're definitely the first chef I've had in person to have these discussions with, which is in-person dialect's a lot different than,
Correct.
remote dialect. I appreciate both of those atmospheres.
Yeah, no, and
this is like one of those things where I'm not a chef, man. I like to barbecue. I have a little catering business. I do that shit on the weekend, but I can see every side of everything. Like people don't think about it, but when you're catering, cooking for somebody, whatever, you are on your feet and you're moving the entire time. From the time you show up to the time you leave. There's not a break. There's not a sit down.
When you step out of your car.
Yes, you're moving.
When your 2 feet step on the ground, you're not sitting down.
I just did one last Saturday, which hell, you had a catering job that day, but it was 126 degrees in that parking lot. We were there I was there at 5 a.m. and I left there at 7 p.m. Like whole time. If I sit down, it was just for like maybe 30 seconds, just because I felt like I was going to fall out. You know what I mean? But like it is work, and it's something that is underappreciated, man. People don't think about it. Yeah. When people think about cooking, they think about, oh, I got to go home and cook something at my house. They don't realize these people are preparing stuff for you, and they're doing it like labor intensive too. Like,
and you're
multiple people over,
and you're not just doing it at that initial time of day.
No.
So your prep work, like for instance,
prep is the worst. Prep is the worst.
So if I'm just guessing, your last week, you probably took 2 days of prep going into Saturday. So you probably started on Thursday and Friday. We're talking about probably knocked out a good 9 hours a day each day. So you're 18 hours of prep into going into Saturday,
hoping that you're gonna make some money.
Yeah, and then once you finally get there, and now you're set up and you're running around. It's a tough job. Like looking back, hindsight, I don't know why I got into it. I mean, I think there's you have like this. It's almost like a special trait. Like you have to be able to get yelled at and let it slide off your back.
Yeah.
You have to be able to put in 150% of energy and still be able to like just shut it off. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people can't shut it off at the end of the day. And there's a dark side of that. Especially like your big chefs. There's a real dark side to that they might have 7 kitchens. You might have one in New Orleans. You might have one in Las Vegas, and you have all this, and you're flying back and forth. And there's a bad side to it. Yeah. And I never wanted to be like that. Well, I wanted mine. I love to do the catering and be like, hey, it keeps my creativity and doing this, and same thing like you. But at the same time, man, if you're trying to prep for 500 people, and you start on Wednesday or Thursday, and you're wiped out by Saturday. Yeah. You're sleeping all day Sunday.
It's just a lot, man. It's a lot, but like people don't talk about that because I guess it's not something. Well, you just gotta have the right time to have the right conversation with someone.
And they may come to your event and they're like, oh, you're charging $12 for a rack of ribs or like a 6-bone rack of ribs, and you're like, yeah, I'm charging $6 or $12. It took this amount of time, like, and they might bitch and moan about the prices, and you're like, y'all don't understand.
That's a lot.
That took a lot to go into that.
Hell yeah.
They look at the bottom line of how much they're paying.
Yeah. No, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it. So you have the good thing. Another thing that's important we hadn't talked about is the crossover. So what we mentioned earlier. So Beau runs the front of the house. You run the back of the house. Mm-hmm. To have 2 people that can do that cohesively, get along, not only work together, but also run a business together is extremely rare. Like, because you're able to, you can relate with the kitchen.
Yeah.
where that front of the house person can't. You know what I mean? But that front of the house person can relate to the customer. So like having that cohesive bond is extremely important. And that's why most restaurants fail, man. Honestly, I feel like I think especially smaller ones like that start up that are local,
right?
They don't have the front of the house person and the back of the house person. They just have one person that tries to do everything.
Right. Or the front of the house person tries to run the back of the house and they're arguing their points to the back of the house.
Right.
And the back of the house doesn't understand.
Right.
Because
they're worried about that,
like they're trying to get the steaks out as quick as they can. They're trying to make the sandwiches as quick as they can. We're trying to boil the shrimp. You know, we're going to boil the shrimp, and it's going to. It takes 4 minutes to boil shrimp. I can't get it to you any quicker. You can yell at me.
You don't want to reheated shrimp either.
Yeah, no, right. So like, I mean, there's certain things as the back of the house, and so when we first got everything going and up and rolling, that is so true. That there's so many restaurants that maybe you are just a guy or a girl says, "Man, I'm going to open this restaurant, and we're going to have this great menu, and we're going to have this," and you may not have the communication skills. You got to have the communication skills.
Yeah.
To get one through the people that are on both sides of the fence, and like dishwashers included. Like you have to be able to, say, "Hey man, you did a good job tonight," and "Hey man, you did a shitty job tonight.
Yeah.
Can I get a little better from you next week?"
Yeah.
And not just blow up and say, "Hey, you're fired." So there's a huge walk of the line that you have to have. And I think me and Beau, we definitely had that. By him knowing how to cook too, he could send somebody home.
Right.
He could be like, man, you're sorry at your job today. I'm gonna come back there and work for you. And then once the kitchen sees that the front of the house owner,
it's a respect thing.
Yep, it's a respect thing.
Yep.
They can walk back there and do your job. They're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, because that's a big thing.
Wait a minute.
That's a big thing in a blue collar atmosphere. Is that if that person in charge is trying to tell someone what to do, but that person in charge has never done that person's job,
they can't do your job.
That person does not respect that other person.
Right.
Like that's something that's huge in any of the aspects.
And you may the manager may make this buku money, but if the $12 an hour guy, $15 an hour guy knows how to do this job better than the other guy, he's still got the hand.
Yep.
And now the guy that makes all the money can send him home, but guess what? You don't have.
You can't work.
Yeah,
I'm out of employee. I can't go. I can't back there. I can't get back there and do what I need to do.
And so whenever Beau
he doesn't know the recipe or whatever.
No, whenever Beau proved himself and says, "Hey man, I can do your job."
Yeah.
Same thing with Brian. Brian's my manager now.
Yeah.
He did the same thing. He's like he learned.
Man, Brian is probably like
he learned how to do everything.
Well, I got to give Brian a shout out. I don't know, and I'm gonna have to have Brian on the STEM podcast too. We're gonna do that next.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna get him out of his box, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Brian is the best bartender I've ever seen in the world, and I've been a lot of places. I've drank a lot of alcohol, and he is the best bartender. He can run a bar top of 20 plus people by himself easily, and I've seen it multiple times. Probably more than that, 30 or 40.
He can easily do the bar top and wait on
tables and get everyone's shit correct and make the drinks
and not write anything down.
Nope.
And I'm not going to go over there with a book and write this down.
Look, and I guess in this industry now, like I've been around it so much, hanging out with you guys and being around people. Like when someone comes to me and starts writing on a piece of paper, I get nervous that my order's going to get fucked up, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I trust the people who don't write it down better than I do the ones that do.
Put it in your head.
Yeah. No, that man right there is like, he's a beast, man.
And, a funny story about him, he was kind of in the same boat. He was working for a corporate restaurant, making really good money. And when we opened our very first location, 2018, he said, "Man, I don't know if I'm gonna make the jump. I'm living pretty good. My family's living good." And then it took him about maybe a month of us being open, And then we're on to something.
Yeah.
Like, we're literally on to something. You should come over here. And he decided, he said, man, he put in his 2 weeks notice over there at his old job. He comes on, and like the first month that he's here, we weren't doing nothing.
Oh,
I'm talking about, because we opened in July.
Yeah.
We opened after July 4th, and we opened like before August. So we're like in that
vacation time.
Vacation time.
Yeah, the middle that are coming to eat are actually not here right now.
Yeah, the middle section. And we didn't have the foot traffic of the casinos, because we are right here around 4 casinos. And we didn't have the foot traffic. We didn't have any of this stuff. And I think he probably was like it was an oh shit moment. He was probably like, the fuck did I do? I'm following these guys, these clowns. Like, I mean, we're all friends.
Yeah.
But he's probably like, these dudes that opened a food truck, all of a sudden they think they're going to be able to run a restaurant. Like, and that was him just saying it was his leap of faith.
Yeah.
I guess is what we would say it, because he's like, man, these guys don't know what the hell they're doing. They've opened up a freaking donut shop. Like, we basically went from a donut shop to a thing on the base to the big money maker, and now we're transitioning into alcohol sales. So I needed a guy like him, to be able to keep track of all the alcohol sales. I didn't know how to do the alcohol sales. I'm confident in my stuff in the kitchen.
Right.
And I was confident that Beau knew how to do the alcohol, out front, but you got to have somebody that's in charge of pouring the alcohol.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very that's a whole other world that's not talked about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overspend there.
Yep.
And a lot of waste there.
Oh man, you can make or break your restaurant on a good bartender or a bad bartender.
Yep.
Because a good bartender is going to be able to make everybody happy, and ring in everything that needs to be ring in, and a poor bartender is going to over pour, and they're going to give what they call the house away, and you definitely don't want that.
Yeah.
But you got to have the one person to be in charge of looking out for the house, and so Brian was a guy, so he joined up with us, and I guess history is what it is, and he's been with us ever since.
Yeah.
So, and went from just pouring drinks to being I basically let him be in charge of whatever he runs the block. We've got other managers that run their spots. I mean, everybody has their own little thing, but he has become a very, well, we'll put it this way. He's a business partner now.
Yeah.
Instead of it being just an employee.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah, no, that was great.
Like, I let him in on, me and Beau let him in on a opportunity for him to be a partner.
Yeah.
Instead of just an employee.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, what that does is once you give someone incentive and stake, it makes them. That's amazing. Most businesses never do that. They never get anyone that opportunity. So giving that opportunity just speaks volume for what you guys are doing. But also, why don't you? Of course, you're going to double down on your best player too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, and I got his wife. Brittany,
yeah, dude. That's
she runs my catering / other venue.
Y'all it's family down here, man. And oh man. 99% of the time that never works. I don't know what sauce y'all got or what recipe you got going on here, but 99% of the time that does not work. Where family is even though you're not family, you're friends. Even that never works. But for some reason, y'all got it figured out down here.
There's a lot of behind the scenes.
Yeah, but still,
there's still.
But you're holding it together. You're doing. Of course, every business has its problems, and there's always some drama. But y'all are holding it together and doing amazing things, man.
Well, and I think it's to our, it's to what you said earlier about family.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly think it's family.
Yeah.
And how many times do you get upset at your brother for doing some dumb shit?
Yeah, exactly.
How many times does your Does your sister go out and she's dating the wrong guy, and you're like why the you hit, and so like we're all in that same thing, and it's we believe it or not, we all bought houses and we build houses next to each other too. So on top of the business,
working together and living together.
Yeah. I'm talking about like you walk out of one person's house and you walk into the next person's house, like less than 30 yards away. So, and that's tough. That's a lot of people were going like, man, why the hell y'all, it's cool. But to some people, like the outsiders, are like, "Oh, that's not going to work.
Yeah,
that's not going to work. Somebody's going to get pissed off at somebody." And you're like "Oh man, it kind of." But as long as you all hash it out, and I think we've definitely done a good job of that. It makes it to where it like builds you stronger.
Yeah,
like you're not just. You have your ups and downs, but your downs sometimes are like you needed that fucking down. It was like that made the ups that much better.
Yeah,
just a lot of times with family. I mean, I for instance, people that just say, "Oh man, I'm not going to talk to my brother for like." Ever 7 years until he apologizes for a certain thing, and then all of a sudden he apologizes, or or maybe just time passes, and then all of a sudden it's just like, man,
it's all right back to normal.
Yeah. And I see some of it being on that. It's family. It's definitely family, and that's why the East Bank Mafia came up.
Yeah.
So we call us the East Bank Mafia. And it's and I truly think it was just a joke at first. Joke coming out of the mouth of one of our our friends, business partner, whatnot. He just said, "Man, we should be the East Bank Mafia because we're all about family." And I was like, "All right, well, I was like, that's cheesy," but here I am 2 years later, and I'm like, "Man, we are kind of family." At the same time, we were hauling ass. We're still hauling ass.
Yeah, you weren't taking. You're not stopping smelling the roses. Like worrying about this status or that status or whatever. No, you're just rolling.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, we're all doing this together. Pretty much.
We're doing this together.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, here's the you are the EBM man. Like, so at the end of the day, if one person hurts, everyone hurts, and you all feel it and you all talk about it. I mean, you are family. You know what I mean? It's just something that's very, very rare. And to make it all work in one block, in one area, at business and at home, and to all be fluent, profitable, and you're still portraying that love for everyone else, not just yourself. It's not all out for you.
I think that's what actually makes the block work.
Well, so I feel like when you come down, when you go to, so anyone who's listening or watching, like, when you go to, you take your lady out, you go to fine dining, maybe you go to a nice Italian restaurant that's locally owned, and the owner comes out and talks to you, and you feel like that meal's just tastes so much better because they came out there and loved on you a little bit. You guys provide that in every single space down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's cool.
And that is very true, and we try to be as much, down here as we can.
Yeah.
But there's that other side that says, and we created this from ground zero.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about all the nights at the strip club. I'm talking about like working at the strip club for like.
Not peanut stripping.
No. That's what I said.
Boys and strippers. He was not stripping.
Yeah, no. If anybody just chimed in and saw, you have to go back and watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
But no, like us selling food outside of the strip club.
Yeah.
Us selling food outside of the casinos. Doing the big fight nights at the casino. We would go set the food truck, and so all of that tied in together, and there's got to be a burnout point.
Yeah.
And I haven't reached it yet. Like there's been like twice. Like I'm just been like, all right, well, the burnout point's about there. And it's good when you have like your business partners that like fucking see it.
Yeah.
They're like,
hey, take a break.
Dude, you're about there.
Yep.
Like your burnout point, it's there. And if you don't just like step back for a little bit, then you're gonna fucking erupt.
Yeah.
And so I really think there's a good side of that to all of our family, our EBM. And sometimes that, it may play off to the public as a bad look, but in our immediate clique, that's just how we treat each other. Yeah. You need to step back for a minute, but we're in this ride together, so it's not like anybody's like getting like kicked out.
Yeah,
you're not like, hey, I'm booting your ass out. It's like, man, you take a break.
Yeah, that's a good thing though.
Well, and I'm the single one out of the bunch.
Yeah.
So all my everybody else that's in the EBM family, that's just, our real clique, they've all got kids and they've got this and that. So it's real easy for them to probably work too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's important to spend some family time. And at the same time, for a guy like me, it's important for me just to get away a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. No, everyone needs their time, man. Like it's something to where at some point when it becomes not like what you guys are doing, you're passionate about it. So when it's of course it's work, but it's not. It doesn't feel like work. But when it becomes the point to where you lose your passion for it, then there's a problem. Right. You don't ever get there. So when you start teetering on that, you're like, okay, I need some time.
Yeah, and it's important that your friends, that your business partners know that.
Yeah, they recognize it. And
you're like, oh man,
see it ahead of time.
Yep. It's like seeing the wreck before the NASCAR, crash. You're like, I need to get on the inside lane. I feel like we all work so well together like that it's not even. Like it's day to day. You don't, you can't put it in words of it's a long term deal. We're basically 24 hours to 24 hours. Like I mean, it's the same way we were when I was working, the food truck every single day. You try to take a nap when you can, and after that, get up and you're working. Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same premise. It's just you're on a different pace, different location.
different location, and I really think that we've done a good balancing act. And it's not just saying that we're doing a good balancing act. Like I feel it. Like we're on a level of that I think that the outside, when you look at it from the outside, it's that way on the inside too.
Yeah.
If you understand that, like I feel like if you're just the person that comes in and eats lunch with me on a Tuesday, and I'm over there at the bar and I'm shaking your hand, and you're from Milwaukee and you're going to Florida, and I shake your hand, I mean it just the same as me shaking your hand when we first started the interview.
Right. Yeah.
So it's maybe transparent, I guess is what it is. Bo does it the same way. Brian does it the same way. Brian's wife, Bo's wife. We all are that same way to everybody that comes down here to the East Bank. Doug and his wife, they are like really getting involved in everything that we're doing, and I think that's what makes it the Mafia. Man.
Yeah.
That's what makes it.
I mean, it's there, dude. It's there.
makes it the Mafia, and I'm glad you're a part of it too.
Hey, man, I'm just tiptoeing into this.
I wish it wore East Bank Mafia.
I need a new T-shirt. I'm about to get one. Let me get one of these Coors Light. We're gonna round this thing out. I'm gonna drink. I hate beer, so I'm drinking one of these for you as we finish this thing. I want to. I want to, man. All right. I want to. Are we on shots on the 30 yet? How much time we got left? All right, we're gonna make it to shots on the 30, and we're gonna finish this thing out and have a few more things. I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring this, but we're gonna do it, man. I got to work out in an hour too. My wife's gonna be laughing her ass off at me. I told her, I said, hey, I'm gonna drink a little bit, and she's writing the workout for the night for our gym, and I said, oh shit, well, it's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna be the one thing that I'm not gonna be doing in an hour.
How many beers you got?
Working on. I probably got about maybe 9 left out of my case, and so yeah, I do a little beer drinking from time to time.
Need one?
Josh
needs one too, man. We neglected him on the shots on the 30, man.
Oh man,
we forgot a shot glass.
I feel like that's my bad. Yeah. Hey,
I'll say you're bad.
Cheers.
Every time I see you, I share a beer with you.
You do. Which is funny. He does a lot of video footage, and every time he sees me, he says, "Let's chug a beer," and I'm like, "Yeah, we'll do it."
Hell yeah!
I'm that guy. Like, matter of fact, if anybody watching out here wants to just step into our restaurant reality series that I almost have, we are kind of like a reality show.
Oh, you'd be a great reality show.
If there was a reality show.
But if we shoot it, we got to shoot it here locally. We're not going to let some major broadcasting company come in here and shoot it. We're going to shoot it here locally and air it locally.
Yeah. And it's going to be kind of our little thing.
Hell yeah, man.
East Bank Mafia Live or something like that.
Hell yeah. It's always interesting, man. It's always interesting around here. But what you guys have is, I know I keep saying this shit and it's corny, but wait, shots on the 30, right? Is it 30? Our timer's not there. Let's go. I feel like I'm back in 2020, Peanut.
There you go.
Let's do it. Son of
Cheers.
A bitch. I'm going to pay for that in an hour. Son of a bitch. All right. Woo. And we got farmer's carry too, man. I don't even know. I can't remember the weight. I think it was 50-pound dumbbell, farmer's carry, and then a bunch of jump ropes. Yeah. I might projectile vomit, but it'd be worth it. Hey, man.
Because you got the interview with
If it was just some random person I was hanging out with,
You're right.
I wouldn't give a shit. Like, I would not.
Hey.
But, hey.
Drink to that.
You, sir. Silver bullets. So, before we wrap up, scariest moment in your life when it comes to this business?
Other than COVID, because we've already covered that, because that was absolutely the most frightening thing that you can ever have. I would say scariest is when Beau was driving the food truck on our shitty ass roads in Louisiana, and he lost the trailer off of the back of the hitch going over a bridge, and he gets to the side of the road, and the food truck jumped the guardrail and landed cockeyed. It's full of food too, by the way.
Yeah.
It landed cockeyed.
Of course, you're not headed home. You're headed somewhere.
Yeah, we're headed somewhere.
Shit.
And we had let some 16-year-old that was kind of helping us out.
Yeah.
We let him put the trailer on the hitch, and he locked the ball before it actually got on the ball.
Yeah.
And so not only did it almost wreck the food truck completely, which was, would have been toast.
Yeah.
But it almost killed Beau, because if you've ever been a part of a trailer that's about to jump off the side of the highway, when that ball starts popping, your truck starts.
Yeah, you're moving the whole truck.
Yeah, it starts moving. So hell, he almost rolled the damn truck, and the food truck almost got just impaled by the guardrail. And so I would say scariest moment is when he called me, and he's like, you know how when your girlfriend gets an accident or your kid gets an accident, and they call and their voice is cracking.
Yeah.
They're oh my God, scared for their life. Yeah, that was Beau. And he called me, and he was like, I almost fucking died. And I was like, explain. And he's like, I can't. He's just shaking.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So That was like almost lost a business partner and the business all in one wreck on the highway. Like, and because I mean, once obviously I wouldn't be where I was without Bo, but I wouldn't be where I was without trailer too. Yeah. So I needed the coke trailer. I needed my buddy. I needed the coke trailer, and almost lost it both on the side of the highway on a Saturday morning going to a crawfish bowl. We were headed to bowl about 5,000 pounds of crawfish and about 700 pounds of shrimp. Yeah. And he was headed there first. And I was coming behind him with all the paper goods, the stuff that you would need to serve it with. And that's when I got that call. And a buddy of ours who actually he kind of does some things like with his name's Benji White. Shout out to Benji White right here. He has like some car trailers and stuff. Like they run some like dirt track stuff. Okay. He was able to take some of his equipment out there, jack it up on the side of I-20. Like, I mean, this thing is jackknifed into the side of a bank embedment, and jack it up and pull it over onto one of the trailers to get the ball hitch on the trailer, pull it out a little bit, get it hooked back up on the truck. A different truck. We had to pull a different truck because the ball had actually like just disintegrated by the way it was getting smashed. Yeah. And so different truck, and we got to our event. We got to our event right on time, and we served our 5,000 pounds of crawfish and our shrimp, and rocked it. But like the people didn't know. Yeah. Like,
you don't tell nobody that.
No. The people that were there at the event didn't know, like, that shit almost didn't happen. Like, it was literally that close to a catastrophe on the highway. Well, so that would be my scariest. That'd be my scariest, because that would have done us in. That'd been it. Yeah.
All right, and lastly, best moment so far in this industry. One you can't forget that comes to your mind all the time.
All right, so we opened this whole block, like I said, back in 2018. Yeah. And then we just started steadily putting new things in. And then we had, by the time 2022 rolled around, we were doing an event for you, and we were doing Party Gras. Yeah. And we had sold, let's just say, 1,500 tickets. Yeah. All right, so I got 1,500 tickets sold. I've got an event center that's not even done yet. Yeah. I'm talking about, like, the concrete's poured, the columns are up, like, but we're not ready. We're not ready for the Party Gras. Everything comes together. We had beautiful weather for like 3 days in a row. If it had rained one time, we'd have been fucked. Yeah. But it all comes together. We had the biggest party for Mardi Gras that I think that North Louisiana. I mean, I know y'all have done some good ones.
That wasn't this big. Never. This is the biggest one ever.
Biggest one ever.
Yeah.
All right. So
biggest one, but before this one, the best one we had was like 600 people.
600. Yeah. All right. So we doubled that. Yeah. And
by the way, I wasn't trying to plug me. I didn't think you were going to say that one. No. I thought you were going to say something else, but that's awesome. That's awesome
because it tied my entire block together. Yeah. Like, I mean, I've had a lot of like really great moments. There was from just some high moments, but like that one that we finished the project. And then we had your bands that you had already paid for. Yeah. Mahler Ringwalds and Chiwis. They needed a place to stay to change up, so we had them over at the chef's table, and like the whole thing, just like the night was fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Like, and we were so not knowing what the hell we were doing.
Yeah.
One, we didn't know if the stage was going to be ready. Two, we didn't know how we were going to fit all these people in the back. And three, I didn't know how we were going to feed them all and make them all drink and have a good time.
See, I'm just not hearing about all this.
No. We told
because I'm joking.
We told you we were good to go.
In the works. We were in the works, but now I'm just now hearing the anxiety of this. I didn't hear all this from you.
No,
I heard it from Bo. But I didn't know you was nervous about it too.
No, yeah.
But I feel like it was amazing collaboration and it all worked out. But holy shit, we were all scared.
We were, and we knew that if we didn't pull it off this year, that it was going, like, we would never get that business from you guys next year. Like,
yeah.
and it's not just you being a friend. It's just like, all right, well, man, they couldn't pull it off. So we knew what we needed to do, and we pulled it off, with like literally, it's, you know, when you talk about shoestrings, like we did it, we laced it up and just did it that day.
Worked.
And we had one of the most amazing, if we had done it the week before, it was going to be snowing, I think, here in Shreveport, Bossier.
And it was going to be like 60 degrees that day.
Turned out to be 60 degrees.
Week before that, it was 20.
Yeah.
Week after that, it was raining.
Yeah. And so we found it right in the middle.
Yep.
And, you know, that was our biggest thing, man. We had you guys that basically broke in our stage.
Yeah.
And our stage is like the biggest part of the business because it ties it all together. And so it tied every business that we have out here was tied into that one moment.
Yeah.
And so when I sat back probably about 9:30 at night and I knew everything had been done, it was one of the coolest moments that I just like, you know what? Damn, we did that. And it was not just us. I mean, we had to do it between the block. I mean, it was everybody. That was BeauxJax. That was BeauxJax having enough.
It was
Pirogue having enough bartenders.
Yeah.
It was everybody having a bartender. And
it was, I mean, all shout out. Yeah, I mean, you bring that up. Shout out to all my partners, my employees, like your guys, your employee, like everything, dude. It couldn't have went any better. And I was nervous because you guys were nervous. You know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, we've done this. We've all done this before. We've all catered. We've all put music on. But like bringing it to something that's brand new is scary as shit. And something you didn't know. You know, like
and like once we got over that hump.
Now you are flowing every weekend in this space.
I know. I was not nervous at all. Like we had, some big acts. I mean, I got Tab and Wall coming up.
Dude, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. We're gonna be here Friday. Yeah, I'm so excited about
he's
that.
coming up this week. Man, I've had everybody from like Stony LaRue to some big name tribute bands and stuff. Like they're all awesome. And so like this has become a cool spot. But if we had fucked up the first night,
yeah,
I think there would have been. I mean, we still would have like done some things, but by us to be able to post footage of how cool the first party was,
yeah,
which is with you guys, that was it, man. I mean, literally, it. The only thing that I would have done different is had a big fireworks show. Like we do these cool fireworks shows, like that are right in our backyard.
Yeah.
I've got like a nice cool yard that we can shoot a bunch of fireworks off. If we did a fireworks show after y'all's event, man, that would have just topped it all the way
next
off.
Year.
Next year. Let's do it.
Next year we'll do it. Well, look,
yeah,
we're almost at 2 hours, bro.
I talked for 2 hours.
You talked for 2 hours, and you was nervous about it.
I was. No, I was. I was nervous about
getting
up.
You was making me nervous. Shit,
man. I was all right.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Cheers to you, sir, and cheers to everything you guys are doing. And thank you so much for the opportunity of being here.
Yeah,
and thanks for coming on, bro.
Man, I appreciate it. I think we got you enough content to.
We're good, bro.
Probably gonna roll the whole thing, just like the whole footage.
We're gonna roll it. I'm not editing anything, sir. All right, man. All right, that's it. Appreciate you, bro.
Do it.